A decade after making peace, war once again loomed when the Klingons demanded the Federation withdraw from a number of planets near their border. Yet war was averted by the Organians, powerful non-corporeal beings who negotiated the Treaty of Organia, establishing a border and neutral zone. Tensions then further relaxed when the Empire gave up their claim to the Arcanus sector, ceding it to the Federation in 2272. Even so, relations remained poor over the ensuing years, making war inevitable, if not for a terrible tragedy in 2293 when overmining destroyed the Klingon moon of Praxis. This catastrophe forced the Empire to divert significant resources to deal with the environmental aftermath, leaving them little choice but to participate in formal negotiations with the Federation, resulting in the Khitomer Accords, establishing long-term peace between them. However, while no longer on the verge of war, relations did not truly improve until an incident involving another neighboring superpower. Though dealings with the Romulan Star Empire were always tumultuous, for a time they were on good terms until 2344, when Romulans invaded the Klingon outpost of Narendra III. Rushing to the defense of the Klingons, the USS Enterprise C was destroyed when they refused to retreat against 4 Romulan warbirds. Witnessing the bravery and honor of this Federation ship, the Empire saw them in a new light, providing a great step forward towards a closer relationship. By the mid-24th century, the Klingon Empire and United Federation of Planets signed the Treaty of Alliance, establishing an official state of friendship and cooperation between them. This alliance created a fundamental shift in the balance of power for the Alpha and Beta quadrants, meaning other great powers, like the Romulan Star Empire and Cardassian Union, would now have to face both the Federation and Klingons should they step out of line. This treaty established many years of peace in the region. However, without an outside enemy to fight, the Klingon houses fell into their old pattern, turning against each other. Although the treaty with the Federation made the Klingon Empire one of the 2 greatest powers in the Alpha and Beta quadrants, peace did not provide a warrior species with much opportunity for glory, and so some were against the Treaty of Alliance, wishing a return to their conquering ways. Believing that the Romulan Star Empire would make better allies because they were both imperialist, expansionary powers, the ancient and influential House of Duras made a secret agreement to undermine their treaty with the Federation. This relationship between the House of Duras and Romulans began with the traitor Jarrod, who helped them bomb a Klingon outpost on Khitomer, killing 4,000 colonists in 2346. Years later, when the High Council learned the truth about what happened, the House of Duras were far too politically powerful to punish, and so they blamed the warrior Moog, who died in the attack, as his house was no more and was unlikely to have defenders. Incorrect in this assumption, the Federation officer Worf, son of Moog, presented evidence of his father's innocence, but when he learned the unity of the Empire was at stake, selflessly agreed to accept discommendation as the last of their house. The longest-serving chancellor in their history, Kimpek kept the great houses at peace, and Empire prosperous, but as he grew older, new political factions emerged, positioning themselves to challenge for leadership when he passed. Representing the old houses and establishment powers was Duras, son of Jarrod, while his opponent Gowron was an outsider challenging the old corrupt establishment, drawing support from lesser houses and portions of the military. In 2367, Kimpek learned he was dying from poisoning and sent for the famous Federation diplomat Jean-Luc Picard, asking him to serve as arbiter of succession, overseeing the ceremony where rival factions sent their champions to fight a duel to the death for leadership of the Empire. However, Picard was really summoned to investigate the Chancellor's death, as the use of poison was considered dishonorable, and thus the man responsible could not become Chancellor. Throughout the investigation, they learned Duras was secretly working with the Romulans like his father, but before he could be held responsible, he was killed by Worf in an act of vengeance for the murder of his romantic partner. With Duras dead, his sisters Lursa and B'Etor now led their house, possessing more support than Gowron from within the Empire, in addition to continuing their family's relationship with the Romulan Star Empire, who supplied them from the outside. With their power growing, Lursa and B'Etor presented Toral, the illegitimate son of Duras, as a candidate to become Chancellor. However, Picard denied the request, as Toral was young and had no victories in battle or qualifications. Withdrawing from the Council in protest, the House of Duras began a devastating civil war they were poised to win. Though Gowron gained the support of Worf's secret brother Kurn, who brought 4 squadrons of loyal warriors, they remained badly outnumbered and lost 3 engagements in a row. Unwilling to get directly involved in the conflict, Picard nevertheless wanted to help Gowron's faction in some way, and so convinced the Federation to blockade the Romulan border, preventing them from sending reinforcements to support the House of Duras. A trap then exposed this secret alliance, and the House of Duras quickly lost support, allowing Gowron's forces to claim victory. Emerging as the uncontested Chancellor of the Empire, Gowron reaffirmed their alliance with the Federation, restoring the balance of power in the region. In 2369, clerics at the Temple on Boreth created a clone of Kalis, given memories from their histories and legends. This man, who stood as a living tribute to the original Kalis, was given the ceremonial position of Emperor, though true power remained with the Chancellor. In this same year, the Federation discovered the Bajoran wormhole, providing instant travel to a location in the Gamma Quadrant 70,000 light-years away. Though this provided many unique opportunities, they soon encountered the Dominion, a Gamma Quadrant superpower ruled by changeling founders, obsessed with dominating what they called solid species to avoid the persecution they experienced in the past. Beginning covert operations in the Alpha Quadrant, the Dominion manipulated the Klingons into launching an unprovoked attack against the Cardassian Union. Despite their alliance, the Federation condemned these actions, leading Gowron to break off relations, pulling out of the Khitomer Accords. Hostilities then worsened when the Klingons demanded territorial concessions, leading to the brief but destructive Federation-Klingon War from 2372 to 2373. Eventually, the two powers realized the Dominion turned them against each other through a changeling infiltrator posing as General Martok, so Chancellor Gowron and Captain Benjamin Sisko of the Federation agreed to reinstate the Khitomer Accords and re-establish a defensive alliance. This alliance, later joined by the Romulans, allowed them to mount a proper defense against what became the Dominion Cardassian Breen invasion force. Playing a key role in the war, for a time, the Klingons fought alone, with the entire defense of the Alpha Quadrant resting on their ships, which were the only ones capable of resisting Breen energy-dampening weapons. Eventually, the rest of their fleet was upgraded as well, but the prominence of the Klingons was now plain for all to see, giving much attention to the real General Martok, who escaped from a Dominion prison camp and took command of their forces. Unfortunately, this was a problem for Chancellor Gowron, who felt threatened by his general's rising popularity. Having grown corrupt and paranoid over the years, Gowron put his own selfish interests above the Empire and war effort, sending Martok on ill-fated suicide missions to discredit his name, while also taking direct control of their forces on the front lines during a time of crisis. Unwilling to allow this disgrace to continue, Worf, son of Moog, challenged and killed Gowron before making Martok the new Chancellor. With a competent leader once again commanding their warriors, Martok worked with the Federation and Romulans to push back the Dominion, eventually achieving a final victory at the Battle of Cardassia in 2375. Though the Klingons played a large role in saving the Alpha and Beta Quadrants, their casualties and losses were enormous, estimating they would need a decade to recover. Continuing to work and cooperate with their allies, the Klingons eventually joined the Federation by the 26th century. A special thanks to Ekster for sponsoring this video. Ekster provide great quality smart wallets, designed with efficiency and security in mind, using premium leather and a quick card box with a trigger at the bottom for easy access to what you need. Their elegant, sleek products come with RFID protection to stop electronic pickpockets, and an optional solar-powered tracker accessed through an app on your phone to ensure you never again lose your wallet. Coming in a variety of styles and colors to fit your personal wants and needs, I've been using the Napa Black Parliament wallet and am extremely pleased with the results so far. At first, I was hesitant about changing from my old, enormous George Costanza type wallet, filled with useless cards and receipts I had no actual use for, since the Parliament is definitely a more minimalist wallet with limited room, meaning I had to get rid of most of the stuff I carried around. But to my surprise, I was thrilled with the result, realizing that I actually only use a few cards on a regular basis, and don't carry around much cash anymore, since almost everything can be paid with debit or credit cards. From my experience, I found that I can fit 4 embossed cards, like debit or credit cards, in the quick card box, and 2 more in the opening panel, while cash goes in the strap in the center. Then on the back, there's a spot for 1 more card, and that's where I put the awesome solar-powered tracker that will no doubt save me tons of anxiety in the future, as I tend to lose my wallet all the time. So if you're interested in checking out the great products from Ekster, while at the same time supporting this channel, be sure to click on the links below or go to shop.ekster.com/CivilizationEx to get a 15% discount on your purchase.